The 12 jurors and 4 alternates have been a part of this case since October 18th, when the jury selection began. And now, 5.5 weeks later, their work is done and they've been excused. After deliberating for less than 12 hours, they convicted the 3 men for the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. My panel of experts still with me, former prosecutor Titus Nichols and defense attorneys Monique Pressley and Sue Ann Robinson. All right, Monique, when the jury asked to have the video of the shooting played back, as well as a 911 call that was placed by Greg McMichael, folks online started speculating and worrying that this could mean an acquittal for some or even all of the defendants. And that concern was heightened, and you mentioned it, because of the verdict last week in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, where he was acquitted after the jury had requested to see video be played back. So to many people, the video spoke volumes, right? And watching it once made this case crystal clear. What was your immediate thought when you had heard that the jury had made this request to watch the video?
Well, my first thought was, thank God. I don't like, and what makes me nervous about juries is when they don't ask for any questions, when they don't ask to see any evidence, and they were in there a long time yesterday and had nothing to say. So part of me was like, okay, they've got most of it figured out. That's what I went to sleep thinking. But then when today came and the early morning, and I'm like, okay, they've had time to get settled in, they're figuring out where they left off, et cetera, and so on. But when I figured out what they were asking for, that it was that first 911 call, which is just damning, the one from the day of, I mean, that's damning, right? And they only wanted to listen to that once, which must have been like one juror who had some sort of question about it. And on the 911, it's, what's your emergency? And it's, there's a black male running down the street. I mean, enough, right? But then when they wanted to see the video 3 times, I thought that was just about Roddie, frankly. And I still think that. I think that they were trying to figure out what he actually could have seen and couldn't have seen, and which crimes he could have participated in and could not have participated in. And I think that that's how they narrowed some things down for him. I think the rest of it was done.
Which is why I think this jury really did their job. Although there was some confusion by the jury's request to see a video that many believe proved guilt on its face, Titus, the jury only deliberated 2 days, if that. For a trial of this magnitude with 3 defendants and 9 charges, this would be considered a quick verdict, right? I mean, I think jury selection alone took more time than the trial itself.
Well, the thing we have to understand is that even though the judge tells the jury, don't talk about the case, you don't have the evidence yet, jurors are still thinking about the evidence that they see. They take notes, even though they're supposed to keep the notes in the courthouse, they're thinking about the facts, they're thinking about the witnesses. So they might not have deliberated until after closing arguments happened, but they've been thinking about what side they were going to come down on. And so when they came together to deliberate, it was more of just everyone coming together on one accord to decide what verdict they were going to vote on. But I don't believe that they just sat there with completely open minds every single day of the trial.
Well, Sue Ann, listen, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. Do you think that holiday played a role on how fast the jury came back with the verdict?
I do. I think that, a majority female jury probably had dressing and collard greens and mac and cheese and potato salad and things to get on the stove. But again, I mean, I think the facts in this particular case, once they were instructed on the law that applied to the facts, I think it was an easy path for them. And I think a lot of their questions had to do with them intersecting the facts as they were told during the case, the evidence they were exposed to, and applying the law as the judge instructed them on the final day when they were charged. So, I think people obviously wanted to get to their Thanksgiving preparations, but the facts really spoke for themselves.
All right, we've got more on this jury and these verdicts after this quick break. More Making the Case when we come back. After the judge read the verdicts for the McMichaels and William Bryan, he polled the jury, having each and every juror confirm that the verdicts were true and accurate. Here to continue the discussion are my team of lawyers, criminal defense attorney Sue Ann Robinson, trial attorney Monique Pressley, and former prosecutor Titus Nichols. Sue Ann, there was doubt over whether these defendants would be held accountable from the start of this trial because of the racial makeup of the jury, all of whom were white, except for one black juror. Although to me it was clear there was discriminatory intent behind the defense's strikes of black prospective jurors, I still thought it was important that we didn't discredit the jury for the actions of a few attorneys, that we shouldn't discount their ability to be fair and impartial before they were even presented a shred of evidence. The lead prosecutor in this trial, Linda Dunikowski, in a press conference earlier today said that the jury system in this country works. Now, sure, it worked in this case, but we cover wrongful conviction cases every week where black men and women are almost always convicted by all-white juries. So let us not be fooled, right?
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think diversity in a jury panel is important because you get diverse perspectives. I think in this particular case, the way that the facts were presented, the way that the judge presided over the case in creating a level playing field for both sides allowed for the facts, again, I hate to repeat myself, to speak for themselves. I think the issue with accountability started from before these guys were even charged. I think it started with the fact that this event happened February 22nd, and then they weren't arrested until 70 something days later after the video kind of became viral. So I think people's concerns started because of the way the case started, because the the original district attorney ended up getting indicted, and there was so much surrounding the case because they were not originally charged. So I think a lot of people's angst over what the outcome would be came from the way that the case came to be in the first place. But certainly we were all concerned with the makeup of the jury, for sure. And I'm glad, that it worked out the way it did.
Monique, your thoughts on this majority white... I'm sorry, Sue-Ann, go ahead.
I was saying all the jurors can come to the cookout. They did a good job.
Okay, we might be going a little too far there now. Monique, your thoughts on this majority white jury, like you said, in the Deep South, coming back with guilty verdicts for three white defendants involving a black victim.
Right. So just for some math, things people know, but maybe other than watching your show, might not understand the way that it directly affects juries. There's more white people than black people in this country, and that's in all of these areas that we have been looking at for these trials. So even to get a jury of the defendant's peers that adequately represents the makeup of that community, there were going to be more white people. That would have been the way that it would naturally turn out. If there were more black people than white people, or black and brown people than white people, then it would be off in terms of being close to a proximity of what that community looks like. Then the reason why we have to show up more for jury pools is because of what we saw happen in this case. So we are outnumbered in the first place, and then we're not showing up for jury duty, and then sitting and complaining about the fact that the few people of color that answered the call and made it through got dismissed, to me is looking at everybody else about the problem except for looking in the mirror. Show up for jury duty. Keep your current address. Be a voter. Voting is how you get to jury duty. All of these things actually matter. They matter to people's lives, and the people could end up in your own family depending on how things go on a regular day running down the street. We never know when it could be us. So that being said, I respect juries, and I respect the job of juries, and I practiced in an area where all white juries were commonplace. I didn't go to the juries, especially federal court, expecting that it was going to be a whole lot of black folks. A lot of times there were no black folks, and that was me defending cases. That was me prosecuting cases for the government. So lawyers have to do their jobs, and Linda Dunikowski did her job. she's a badass, and that's why they have that verdict.
Can we say the word A? Well, anyway, Monique, I'm so glad that you stressed
Sorry.
that point about people. No, you're good. I'm like, I almost said it a couple times, but no, I'm glad that you stressed that point about people showing up for jury duty. I mean, it's something that I stress every single time a big high profile trial like this even is being televised and people are paying attention, because this is a time to really remind them again about how important jury duty is. Titus, last question for you. When we think a certain side is eliminating prospective jurors because of race, there's no real way of proving it, because they can do what the defense did here and provide a race-neutral reason that the challenging side and nor the judge can prove isn't true. So how can we get more diverse juries that reflect our communities? Besides just showing up to jury duty, of course.
And that's going to have to be the key, is just to everybody telling your mama, your cousin, everybody you know, when you get the summons, show up for jury duty. Everyone always wants to complain. They don't want to sit through it, but show up for jury duty, because mathematically all the attorney has to do is just come up with any excuse whatsoever to strike the handful of black jurors or Latinos or minorities who show up. They can say a dumb reason such as, well, Your Honor, that potential juror didn't appear to be interested in the proceedings. And that is considered a race-neutral reason for striking someone from the jury. However, there's a mathematical limit to how many jurors can be struck. So the more people that show up, the more black people that show up, the harder it is to get a jury that's all white, or 11 out of 12 white. So it comes down to just telling everybody you know how important jury duty is, and to, when you get the summons, show up to court.